Some people might be a bit on your radar. I've seen people playing it a little bit, not as much as the pure Purrely deck, the Purrely deck, I suppose. And Firat on something
so
completely crazy. Runick Generator. I hadn't seen most of these cards until we just started reading them now. So what do you guys think? Do you...
I love the deck, and I mean, I have heard about it before, and I was just saying, I was referring to one card kind of releasing, making the connection between the two engines better and maybe even existed in the first place, because now that Sleipnir Runick main was released recently as one of the new Runick monsters, you have a level 9 monster that you can summon out with your Runick spells, and that is really good, because at the end of the day, Generator is moving around level 9 monsters. You try to summon out rank 9 exceeds, and therefore that is very, very helpful. And yeah, on the other end we have Elias with his Purrely deck, with the Spright cards as well.
And one more card I want to highlight is the World Legacy Monstrosity, which is an insanely powerful card that is based around level 9 monsters. So this is of course also included 3 times in Firat's deck, because he has easy access to level 9 monsters.
Yeah, indeed, like any Runick is a level 9 monster.
Yeah, he has plenty of ways to go into it. You will see there's a lot of cool level 9s in there. Okay, we're revealing 3 different cards. So that's always interesting, because usually you're trying to maximize your chances of getting one specific card, but Elias is like, I'm trying to get one of those 3. The cool thing about this way, though, is your opponent really does not know what you got there, because it's one of the 3, so there's a 33% chance. It is straight Purrely Spright, which you just activate right after, of course. Okay, then we go for Purrely's effect on the field. And we are going to bring out the newest addition to the Purrely extra deck, and that is going to be Purrely Noir.
Yeah, but that is a very good setup, because this is still quite early in the turn. We're now going to special summon the Jet next to the
We're revealing
Noir.
it. Also, excuse me, it was Purrely Noir, of course. Purrely Noir is the big one, which was around for a while, but the small Purrely Noir has been a recent addition. But let's hope he also still has another quick spell that he can activate.
How do you feel about this Purrely Spright deck?
I do like it. I think it's pretty cool. And you were saying you've never casted it, but one name that instantly comes to my mind regarding this deck is going to be Sebastian Ma. And Sebastian Ma has been playing this deck non-stop, I want to say, over the last 1.5 years. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't he even make top 8 at YCS Dortmund?
Yeah.
Or at least top 16, that's what I'm thinking. And so, in fact, Purrely Spright was the more successful variant of the deck in Dortmund, because it was the version that got the furthest. So maybe that's just the way to go.
It really popped off right there, and we're going to see some great performances again right here. Spright Sprint is now going to be summoned. Of course, you are playing the Nimble package, because if you have a Nimble Angler plus a Purrely card, that is some value right there.
Absolutely. Normally, you only play 1 or 2 Nimble Anglers because you don't really want to draw them. But here in this version of the deck, you do want to draw it badly, because it's a super good discard for all the memories, and then you can just summon out 2 Beavers for free. But we can also, of course, get to that point by summoning Spright Sprint right there.
And here you can make any of the Purrely monsters, but I don't see why you would, but maybe there is a reason.
I mean, Beauty is a decent one, but we could also just go into Gigantic Spright, maybe summoning out Spright Carrot or something. So there are different ways to handle the situation. But looking at this list, there's not even Spright Carrot. So we're only playing Spright Red, but no Carrot, actually.
So you do have to keep in mind that the Purrely monsters have some of all of the effects you know and love. Some of them are granted by the spells, and some of them get extra effects. So Purrely Beauty, for example, doesn't have its effect to negate an opponent's monster effect. It's only a quick effect if it has a pretty memory as a material. So in this case, it wouldn't if you just make it with 2.
True, that would have just been 1 rank 2 that doesn't really do a whole lot, you're right. But it's interesting to see he did not have another quick spell to actually get access to Pearl Leap. Oh, but there in the end phase. Okay, of course, that works just fine. Elias was playing around cards like Effect Veiler there.
Very good.
Very, very decently. And we are going to set that Pearl Leap there to our field. And we have a 4 material Purrely Noir. That means we could get out a 5 material Purrely Noir. And in the meantime, also draw a bunch of cards in the standby phase, because we have double Sleepy Memory attached to this.
That is 4 draws and a monster that is absolutely unbothered by effects at all. Now let's see if we're going to do something about that earlier. Maybe in the draw phase, one of the Runick spells could affect the Noir.
One question. Did he set Pearl Leap? Because I feel like that card was set before.
That is a good point.
Yeah, so that face down must be Pearl Leap.
It must be, for real, yeah.
All right, Fira is still thinking about his draw phase. Maybe a Runick Destruction. Runick Tip. Perfect. That is going to search for Flashing Fire. Thank you. Yeah, now I got it. Maybe.
I think,
we
just go for Purrely right away. Understandable.
That's interesting. It's kind of a bit of a mind game here. So it gets you to your Purrely Noir before your opponent can search any possible interruptions.
Yeah, I think I really like the way he does it here, because Fira might already have Runick Destruction or Runick Flashing Fire in his hand. But like with the resolution of, oh look, he already has the Destruction. So with the resolution of Runick Tip, it would have been more likely that he has both pieces, the Destruction and the Flashing Fire, which would be an answer to this scenario right now. So I like that Elias just immediately responds with the Purrely. Okay, Destruction going after the Field Spell.
Right, that is interesting. Does not really care about the My Friend Purrely there. The question is, does Firat have cool interactions with generators for this turn to show us?
Hopefully.
You know, this is...
and Forbidden dropped it to also come down here, making perfect value out of the two Runick cards, just sending them away and probably going to negate both the IP Masquerena and the Spright Rat here.
There's also the sprint to keep in mind. There's going to be a lot of materials you have to detach.
But we are focusing on the most important ones, the Spright Rat and the IP Masquerena right here.
Would you say this is the most action we've ever seen in a single draw phase on a feature match?
Personally, I would agree.
This is a record, I think. Number of spells or cards activated in a draw phase.
And I think I like that we didn't negate the Spright Sprint, because if you want to use Spright Sprint, that would make your Noir vulnerable again, because you would have to detach a material, and it would make it a 4-material Noir then. And therefore, I probably would agree of handling it this way around. And if he wants to use the Spright Sprint, so be it. Then we can at least attack the Purrely Noir.
If Elias decides to at some point use the Noir effect to put something back into the deck of Firat, then he can also use the Sprint later on to return something to the hand. But that is for a problem for future Firat, maybe.
Okay, Firat trying to figure this out. We are apparently just going to search out the Runick Fountain. Yep.
Flashing Fire is not going to do anything for you, so you can just go for the Fountain, and maybe if you have another... does he have another Runick spell, though? I think there's 3 cards in his hand. I saw 2 monsters that might be generators.
I mean, that's surely you wouldn't add Fountain unless you had a...
That is an excellent point.
Was that 2 Purrelys banished already?
That's what I was thinking. That's really good, because the grind game of the Purrely deck gets majorly distracted by that. And I think we just passed it over, right? Oh no, we're in the standby phase. And we finally moved over to the next phase of this turn. And that is going to be the standby phase, where we are drawing 2 cards.
No Time Thief Morganite draw phase right here.
And what's next?
Okay, time to read cards, guys.
Ooh, that is Lopter. We are summoning out Lopter. And of course, Elias smiling, immediately grabbing the card he has to read. So we are going to give you guys the card to read as well. Lopter's Shadow of the Generator Bosses. We never really had a super successful generator strategy, but now, second to last round of the day in Swiss here, we have it still competing in this tournament, ready to top YCS Bologna here. And this is like the generic monster that can special summon out all of the other generator monsters, basically.
And keep in mind, the generator monsters are level 9, so they are likely to have high attack points, which can just attack over the Purrely Noir, because there are no delicious memory on that Purrely.
That is a pretty good point, yeah. Okay, we are summoning out Model, and before even selecting a zone for the Model, we are just going to give it over to our opponent so we can both read it together. And Model Generator Boss of Light is having 2,400 attack points, which would not be enough to run over the Purrely Noir, of course.
A real boss monster right here.
Yeah, indeed. Quite literally. And I think we do have more spell cards in our hands, so I think there might be more Runick spells. But let's see.
Honestly, there's also no battle phase. I completely forgot that part.
Yeah, you're right. That is a very valid point. So, we are going to now search out what... Oh, there we see the monstrosity you were talking about. And we are just going to grab By the looks of it, the new, not the new field spell, but the field spell. And it's going to be the, not just, Generator boss stage. But I mean, in general, we can already look at this card because it is the card that the whole theme is centered around. It's the best field spell, or like, it's the field spell of the deck rather. And the only thing that is kind of putting me down on Runick Generator is that you have two super powerful field spells that you both want to use on your opponent's turn, because Runick Fountain makes your Runick cards live in your hand to activate them from there, and Generator Boss Stage is giving you all those valuable effects as well on your opponent's turn. So I think you sometimes just have to evaluate on which one you want to keep.
I think there was just the one Fountain and 3 Boss Stage in the deck for Firat, so I guess we can decide, we can see which one he prefers. Yeah,
fair enough. But this is Hela, Generator Boss of Doom, that he decided to add there. But it was quickly discarded right away for the effect of Fala, Cider of the Generator Bosses, which is now summoning out itself. And that means we finally have 2 level 9 monsters on the field. So we have access to rank 9 monsters in our extra deck as well.
How scared are you if you're Ilias? Do you know what level rank 9s are going to come down?
I mean, there's one more card left in his hand. I feel like shuffling away one of those monsters and then also having more materials to shuffle away the Runick Fountain seems good to me, to be honest.
Oh, and he's immediately starting with a Sprite.
I mean, that makes sense, right? Because then we still have 2 more shuffles.
Yeah, and you can have a good read on Firat's last card being a Runick spell of some sort.
Yeah, I think it is Freezing Curses as well. And now, I mean, I was going to ask that earlier. Oh, we are immediately chaining this.
Oh my. If it really is Freezing Curses, that might turn out to be a really, really, really valuable Freezing Curses.
I don't
Imagine
think so.
He chains again.
If he chains the Freezing Curses right here, you just chain the Noir again to put the Fountain back.
Yeah, but imagine he just chains the Noir one more time, because he already chained it twice now, so maybe a 3rd time is also coming.
I mean, it would be... Okay, yeah. Let's think.
Is Elias going to chain Noir one more time here? That could be a crucial moment for the entire game, but no, it seems like we are going to resolve just now. And we made sure that Lopter is going to go back into the deck, so let's double check. Does Lopter also have a quick effect in the graveyard somehow?
I did not expect this, so...
So the Cider has targets a generator unless you special summon it from the graveyard, but I'm not sure why it wasn't. Does it target a monster in the graveyard, maybe?
Apparently not, because we still managed to summon out the Hela there.
And Hela is now sitting good there. We are still at... Oh, we are now activating the last Noir, and this is Freezing Curses, the last card in Firat's hand. The crowd is applauding already. This is going to negate the Noir, and it is going to get 3 cards back to Firat's hand as well.
That is so brilliantly played by Firat, waiting with this Freezing Curses until the last moment where Noir could not respond anymore, and it is resolving. Wow. This Fountain will be drawing him 3 extra cards if the effect is resolving. Does Elias have a response to that? No, he's nodding his head, so Firat really is going to draw 3 cards here. What a game already. We had a draw phase that was going on for ages, and now the main phase also is giving us quite some value here.
Now, Firat has outed the field of IP Masquerena, Sprite Red and Noir. I mean, they are still on the field, but they have no effects to use this turn. And he's just getting started. He still has 2 level 9 monsters and 4 cards in his hand.
And Elias is out of interruptions. IP Masquerena negated, Sprite Red negated as well, and the other effects were used.
I was just going to mention, like, there's one potential downside of running droplets along with the Runick cards, because negating your opponent's monsters is great, and then you can just attack them. But in this case, Firat can't just attack them. He's going to have to use effects to destroy those monsters.
There comes Levitain, Generator Boss of Shadows, which was the most recent addition to the Generator part of the deck, because it was released in Photon Hypernova. And it's a pretty good card. When this card was announced, people were pretty excited about it, to be honest.
Oh, this card can just tribute itself to special summon out a non-fairy Generator card from the extra deck. No, yeah, non-fairy exceeds Generator.
Indeed.
And that must be Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity. A question mark attack and defense monster.
And look at that, we drew into the boss stage there. Ooh. We drew 3 cards, and one of them was the other field spell, the boss stage. That is so huge for Firat. I think another card he picked up is evenly matched, which is not going to help him that much, but still, that one field spell pickup is huge.
Oh wow, and Jormungandr is actually going to make your opponent draw a card as well as you will, but then you have the boss stage, and that is a combo because boss stage is going to fill your main monster zone up with tokens.
That is indeed the case. Okay, so Firat
What?
right in this. Okay, there comes Jormungandr, Generator, Boss of Eternity, all those unknown cards, but here they are. Elias keeps on reading his opponent's cards, and Firat just confidently going through his moves, knowing that Generator Runick may be the most underdog deck to pick for this event, but still he's in this.
And Firat has just surprised so many people with Jormungandr this weekend.
And look at that, there is the surprise factor you were talking about. We did the Purrely thing actually. This looks like we just resolved Purrely Pretty Memory, but no, we are just going to use Jormungandr and we just attached IP Masquerena and my friend Purrely underneath it. What is going on here? We are taking apart the field.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't say when you said what deck you think is going to win this weekend. Runick Generator.
I mean, it was definitely... I didn't want to give it away just yet because I was looking forward to present it to you guys here on stream to see it here first. Oh, and we drew a Runick card there as well. I mean, okay.
I think that was even the Flashing Fire.
It was the Flashing Fire. I think so too.
You can still use that one, right? That wasn't used this turn.
Yes.
You do actually have to set it. There's no Runick
True, yeah,
field
there's
spell.
no Runick Fountain anymore, which is a little unfortunate.
I mean, you can still activate it this turn, right?
More and more materials are going underneath.
Yeah. Both players draw one card and then choose one card from their hand or field, I think, and detach that to the Jormungandr Generator, Boss of Eternity.
Okay, now of course boss stage triggered because his opponent drew a card. We get to summon out Har, Generator, Boss of Storms, and that is a huge interruption now on top of everything. Firat, out of nowhere, building up this impressive field, even though Elias before that was building up such an impressive field.
Yeah, this all came from just resolving that fountain once.
I love it.
That last card in hand was not supposed to be Freezing Curse, as Elias thought, but it was. It definitely was. Now the Runick Flashing Fire is going to destroy the Sprite Red right there. Expelinoir is identified as not a threat anymore. We're banishing 2 more top cards. Price Print is also not going to do too much later on in this game, and Field is just sitting there really comfortably.
Indeed. And they're in the draw phase because Generator Boss Stage doesn't care how your opponent draws a card. It could just be by nature drawing it in the draw phase. You are going to summon out one more Generator monster from your deck. And you already have the Har, so you can add onto that with, I think, just Lopter, because Lopter could then activate again. Yep, there we go. Level 4 monster, not as impressive as a level 9 monster, but that then afterwards is going to trigger the second effect of the boss stage, now providing you a bunch of tokens.
Do you think there's some like deck out combination because the generators like to make your opponent draw cards and then the Runicks?
That would be fun, bringing your opponent down to 0 cards and then make them draw an additional card, or like 1 card and then make them draw an additional card. That's nice. I like
that is something that Ed could ask in a potential interview. I hope he's listening.
Okay, normal summon Nimble Angler. You want to discard this card, not normal summon it.
Look at this field. This looks so much better for Firat right now, and Ilias just probably just doesn't know what is happening to him. This is such peak play by Firat. The Runicks and the Generator really go along together. Of course, it's a little bit unfortunate that you can't get the draw 3 on your opponent's turn with a Runick Fountain, but the boss stage is doing a good job. You have a negation with Har as well. It's looking fine for Firat.
Yeah, and I think it looks even better here on the featured match stage with the YCS tokens, doesn't it? Like those YCS tokens there on the screen. Oh, Underworld Goddess is a card Elias is running, and you are just going to link all the Jormungandr and your own monsters for the Underworld Goddess. But still, there are the Generator cards on the field, so I don't even know whether Firat is caring too much about this, to be honest.
It did just come out of nowhere. I do love the Underworld Goddess.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is a great inclusion into the deck.
Ilias running that possibly for the Purrely Mirror match.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So, now we established the Underworld Goddess, but what's next? I think now, in the long run, it really might hurt Elias that he would not be able to have that many Purrelys in his deck anymore, because we banished those with Runick spells, and therefore it's going to be a hard time for him.
Alright, and now we are going to see another Generator monster, which is a very good removal, I think even as a quick effect. I think this is Utgada, a very cool castle generator, boss of Delusion. I always thought Basti was the boss of Delusion when he decided to play Plunder Runick, but that is a different story right there.
I will not respond to that.
Quick effect, you contribute 2 generator monsters and or rock monsters, then target 1 card on the field, banish it. That is pretty good. You have Har, Negation, and the Utgarda Banish. That is pretty strong. You have a set card as well, 1 card in hand. Fira is just set up here.
Yeah, it sounds very expensive, tributing 2 monsters, but when you have a field spell that just gives you 4 tokens or something to tribute, that doesn't sound so expensive at all anymore.
It feels free even, honestly. Okay, but now there comes the Delicious Memory. It is limited in the TCG, but still it found its way into the hand of Elias there. And we are going to chain to that with the graveyard effect of Purrely, so we at least have some more Purrely monsters in our deck that we could potentially summon out. Okay.
Or will it be a delusion that you have more Purrely monsters left? Will they all get banished?
We'll see. So Firat is checking the graveyard, trying to confirm how many more there are in the deck.
I think at this point Basti is slowly losing his mind because we were making too many puns. But now Purrely enters the duel right here. I mean, we've seen one before, but it's another one.
It's another one.
Absolutely. So that one can, of course, just grab out the My Friend Purrely. It was last turn being taken care of with the Jomagander, but now it is back. Ooh, okay. We want to bring out... Oh, my. And there's another Flashing Fire.
Yeah, Flashing Fire is going to take care of that Purrely. This almost looked like a scoop right there. Elias is considering his options, looking at the extra deck, taking away the Purrely, is offering to cut. I think that he only has 1 card in hand, that is My Friend Purrely. We're banishing the top 2 cards. Nothing too valuable there. Nothing that could stop him from continuing. But he puts the cards together. He scoops. Firat card. I was almost going to announce game number 3 starting now, but we have only seen 1. Firat is leading 1-0 with his Runick Generator strategy, seeming unstoppable. I wonder what would have happened if Elias played this out differently. Oh, we're starting immediately with the generator cards.
Yeah, but it's surprising that Firat starts playing here, because that must mean Elias has made the decision to send Firat first. And honestly, I kind of like the approach, because Purrely is a really good going second deck. And when now Firat has sided in all the Forbidden Droplets, or capped in all the Forbidden Droplets and evenly matched, that's a pretty good move to make. But there's also the Droll and Lockbird now.
Droll and Lockbird is pretty strong, especially against Generator, because now...
but is it really? Because I have something in my mind that I see Firat doing just there. We are just going for the first rank 9. Haven't seen this yet. I have seen him summoning this card a lot at the top tables. Well, this is Phantom Fortress Enter Bloodnear, and we are just going to take 1 card out of the hand. That is a driver there. That's not the hit he wanted, but it's definitely something that the crowd loves. And when we get another Enter Bloodnear out, that might mean that we bring Elias down to 2 cards here in total. Oh, there's boss stage as well. That's huge. That is so good. Normal summon Lopter after. This is honestly not looking too bad for Firat.
This is looking great.
Yeah, he hand looped for 2 already.
So far. But will there be another?
There might be. So Hela coming to the field. The Generator Boss of Doom. This deck really has plenty of boss monsters. They're all bosses, which is so nice. And there's boss stage too. But now, with 2 more set cards, his turn is over, and Elias can present the options that he has brought into his main deck here to make him be the winner in this game number 2. Perfect English by me as always. Okay, but there in the draw phase, after Elias drew for turn, we are going to, of course, use the effect of boss stage again, and there is going to be Har once again.
Har. That's what Firat is thinking. And Basti was thinking when he was playing Plunic Runda. No.
Runda Plunic?
Plunder Runick.
Indeed.
Har.
Okay, so we are double reading on the Har once again. And I would also be reading those cards non-stop. I kind of know what they're doing, but still, if you play against it in one of the most important tournament rounds of your life, because you're about to top YCS Bologna at 2,500 player YCS. You really want to get into that top card, and then you play versus this deck here. It will be throwing me off like crazy, honestly. And there we go again. Just summon out 3 tokens for free. And you might be thinking, yeah, those tokens can't be big, right? They must be like 0-0 or something. But no, Generator Boss Stage actually summons out tokens with 1,500 attack points, which is not too bad, right? Because this alone would be 4,500 points of damage next turn.
I mean, they are getting destroyed in the end phase,
Fair,
so
you're right.
you won't really have anything off of that, but you can use them in your turn if you give your opponent a draw, and then you get multiple tokens. But I just want to say this is truly a boss performance on stage by Firat so far.
Yes, I agree. He is the master of the bosses.
Master of Disaster, or was that Hela?
I think it might have been Hela.
There was no disaster.
Oh, okay, my friend Purrely is the first card that Elias wants to use here to try playing into this field. And he's also going to use the effect, bringing Firat ahead in life points here, because of course that is costing him 500 life points, and the immediate response by Firat, Runick Destruction. But there is the happy memory for Elias, and that's so huge because this can protect my friend Purrely, but immediately being met by the effect activation of Hard, Generator of Boss of Storms, negating this.
Oh, and this is strong because there were already 2 cards ripped out of the hand from Elias, which is really big. Now there must be 2 cards remaining in the hand of Elias. He was really lucky that the Psyframe driver was hit by the Enter Bloodnir.
Oh, that's a good normal summon right there.
But we have used my friend Purrely already.
Yeah, true. It's not a way into another quick spell. You're right. It's not even that great.
It is a way into Zeus.
True. It is a way into Zeus. That's right.
This is a quick effect?
It absolutely seems like Vala is a quick effect because we just used it on our opponent's turn. So Vala is being used in the graveyard. And now Lopter is also coming back to the field. Lopter using its effect. And we are going to summon out the other favorite generator monster that Leo has found here. I think you're in love with this one, right,
it's
Leo?
It's Utgada, of course. And it's such a cool card, Boss of a Delusion, which is just... It reminds me of the Castle of Stromberg. But it looks like it's moving.
And that's the end show! 2-0 by Firat Kaladas with Runick